You're jolted awake at 3 a.m., heart slamming, and for one full second you don't know where you are. Sound familiar? Everyone's had that dream where something's chasing you and your legs won't move. The ancient horror movie your own brain writes for free every few nights. Here's the question nobody asks. Did a person 40,000 years ago wake up from the exact same nightmare? That question matters more than it sounds. If nightmares are universal, they're not a glitch. They're old machinery. And figuring out what it was built for tells us something about how the human mind actually works. Start with the sleep itself. In 2015, UCLA neuroscientist Jerome Siegel led a team that studied 3 hunter-gatherer groups: the Hadza of Tanzania, the San of Namibia, the Tsimane of Bolivia. People living without electricity, without screens, without alarm clocks, about as close to a pre-industrial baseline as science can get. They wore tracking devices for over 1,000 nights combined, and the sleep they got looked shockingly like ours. Around 6.5 hours a night. Bedtime hours after dark. Not right at sunset. No regular naps. Here's the thing. That already kills one myth. We tend to picture ancient humans crashing the second the sun went down, sleeping in one long, peaceful stretch until dawn. The Hadza and Tsimane data says no. They stayed up for hours in the dark, same as someone doom-scrolling before bed, which means the sleeping brain our ancestors carried into that darkness is basically the one you're using tonight. So if the hardware is the same, what about the dreams running on it? Now here's the complication. For a long time, the working theory was that dreams, nightmares especially, were basically neurological noise, random static from a brain cycling through memories. No real purpose. Comforting, in a way. Just garbage collection. But garbage collection doesn't explain why nightmares are so specific. Across cultures, across centuries, the plots repeat. Being chased, falling, drowning, attacked by an animal. That's not random. Random would look messier. This looks like a pattern with a job. Let's talk about the researcher who took that pattern seriously. In 2000, Finnish cognitive scientist Antti Revonsuo published what he called the threat simulation theory. His argument, dreaming isn't noise, it's rehearsal. A sleeping brain that keeps running you through predator attacks and near misses is a brain practicing survival, for free, with zero physical risk. Miss the escape in a dream, and nothing happens. Miss it for real, in the Pleistocene, and you're finished. Revonsuo and colleagues tested this against real dream reports and found threat content showing up again and again, especially in children's dreams and in people who'd actually faced danger. In other words, the worse your waking world, the harder your brain trains you for it while you sleep. Here's where it gets stranger. This isn't just a psychology theory floating alone. It lines up with the fossil record of the brain itself. REM sleep, the stage where vivid dreaming happens, isn't a human invention. It stretches back through mammals and birds. Cats with specific brainstem damage will visibly stalk and pounce at hallucinated prey, still fully asleep, bodies acting out a dream in real time. That's a documented finding, not folklore. If a cat's brain rehearses hunting mid-dream, a human brain, built on that same ancient architecture, probably rehearses being hunted. And that brings us to the Ice Age itself, because our ancestors may have left behind actual evidence of what was living in their heads. Around 40,000 years ago, someone in southern Germany carved a 9-inch figure from mammoth ivory. Human body. Lion's head. Archaeologists call it the Löwenmensch, the Lion Man of Hollenstein-Stadel. It's one of the oldest known pieces of figurative art on Earth. Nobody thinks a lion-headed man walked the Ice Age. So where did the image come from? Deep in Chauvet Cave in France, painted roughly 30,000 to 36,000 years ago, there's a figure researchers call the Sorcerer, human legs fused to a bison's upper body. These aren't isolated one-offs. Composite, half-human hybrids show up again and again in Paleolithic art, at sites separated by thousands of miles. That repetition is the strange part. One weird image could be a fluke. The same image, made independently across cultures and millennia, is a signal. Something in the human mind kept generating hybrid monsters and putting them on cave walls. Nobody can prove those figures came straight out of a nightmare. But the timeline fits. A modern mind, fully capable of dreaming like you do, surrounded by predators that could kill it in its sleep. Carving human-animal hybrids in the dark, underground, by firelight. So here's the theory that ties it together. Threat simulation says the nightmare exists to train you for danger before danger finds you. A Pleistocene brain was hardwired to rehearse being stalked and chased. It didn't just dream about lions and hyenas. It might have needed somewhere to put that fear once it woke up. Cave art, in that light, isn't just decoration. It could be a nightmare, dragged out of the dark and pinned to a wall where it couldn't get you anymore. You'll probably have a bad dream sometime this week. Falling, chasing, something in the dark that won't let you move. When you do, you're not broken, and you're not alone across time. You're running software that's been rehearsing survival since before your species had a name for fear. Ancient hunters woke up shaking in the dark. Same as you did last week, except their monster might still be on a cave wall. If you've ever had a recurring nightmare, drop what it was in the comments. Chances are it's older than you think. Some sleep. Every mind still hunted.